WISH-TV is focused on family and the community and is committed to sharing the stories of those who are making a difference every day. From the All Indiana Podcast Network and WISH-TV, this is Behind the Eight Podcast with WISH-TV's George Mallet.
George Mallet here. For nearly 40 years, meteorologist Randy Ollis has been mapping out weather forecasts for central Indiana, serving as the meteorologist for WISH-TV's Daybreak and Midday broadcasts. Randy recently completed Indy's grueling mini-marathon and, after crossing the finish line, announced his retirement from WISH-TV. Randy graciously joined me for my Behind the Eight podcast, and I began by asking him how his career in television began.
Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved WISH-TV app bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecasts, radar, and Indiana sports, all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved WISH-TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere.
I'll tell you, George, my first job was back, I graduated from Northern Illinois University in 1978, got a job offer in a small market, Wausau, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Stayed there for 1 year, and I gave him my word. He says, I want you to commit to 1 year, so I did, and I left exactly a year afterwards. But I was ready to go. This is a story about that first job. This is back in 1978, and I went and I auditioned and I talked to him, and I think he liked me, and he had a pub in town. He said, let's go to the pub, we'll discuss you working for me here. And so we're in his car, and he says, I'm going to offer you a deal here paying $135 a week. And so I'm sitting in his car going, let's see, $135 times 52, that's like $7,000 a year right out of college. Uh-huh. And I just remember as a youngster, I was only just out of college. I said, sir, can I live off of that amount of money here in Wausau, Wisconsin? Oh, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. But I think the real story is I would have done that first job for free.
Right.
Just to get the experience here.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a small market, you start out. And that's what they paid back then was $7,000 a year. So I loved Wausau, Wisconsin. It gave me some experience. Hey, real quick, and again, I get off on tangents. So they hired me, and I was also the public affairs director. Okay. In addition to doing the main weather Monday through Friday. I think it's the only time in my career I did Monday through Friday evenings. Most of us have been here at WISH-TV in the mornings. Uh-huh. But as public affairs director, you'll chuckle at this. Mr. Rogers, remember him?
Oh, yeah.
I had a public affairs 5-minute show that I did. I interviewed him, and I had no idea who he was.
Oh, boy.
I didn't watch. I know it probably doesn't surprise you, but I never watched him as a kid. Uh-huh. And it was like, hey, Mr. Rogers, what do you do?
Well, I was probably, I'm a little younger than you, and I probably was a little old to have been exposed to Mr. Rogers, but I covered him in a commencement speech once when he spoke at NC State.
Yeah. I mean, he's an icon right over my head,
So at what point... Clearly, the fact that you were willing to take that first job, as you said, you would have done it for free. Where did the passion about weather in particular come from?
I've always been fascinated by weather. I mean, as a youngster, probably 6, 7 years old, I would take my mother's kettle. We grew up in the Chicagoland area in the suburbs, and I would put her kettle out on the back porch of our little house that we had. And every time it rained or snow, I'd stick a ruler in there. I'd measure the rain. I'd measure the snow. I had a big chart on my bedroom wall, and I'd write down the high temperature, the low temperature for the day, how much rain, how much snow. And occasionally I would call the weatherman in Chicago and be a weather watcher when I was a youngster. So I've always been a weather geek, always. I really didn't want to do anything else. I never dreamed I'd go into broadcasting, My dad was a factory worker 40 plus years. Mom worked in a grocery store. If I got into college and even got out of it, that would be a miracle, in our family here. But I was in college at Northern Illinois. My junior year, they had a student-run newscast. Nobody wanted to do weather. So I was young and naive, and I said, I'll do weather. Now I'm old and naive, but that's how I got my. I've always had that passion for. I'm just fascinated by storms.
And you've done it mostly on television, but now we're in an era where all of us are called upon to do social media,
Yes.
and you have a Facebook following with gazillions of people, and you impart some weather wisdom to them. Is that something that you foresee continuing after your retirement?
You know, I will probably take that Facebook page with me when I leave. We've already discussed that a little bit, you know, and it's going to go with me. Yes, I will probably continue to use it. I use it for a number of things. Number one, weather. I love to put weather on there, you know. I love to put entertainment on there, some funnies and stuff like that. You know, I do speaking engagements. I'll go out and shoot the crowd and put them on my Facebook page. So I have a unique platform. And I think, yeah, when I retire at the end of August, I'm going to keep doing that. Maybe not as often as I do now, but I do plan on doing it. And I may still keep doing some radio from home, too. I do 2 radio stations, and I think one of them want me to keep going if I want to.
Yeah.
And I may do it. I just don't want to retire and sit back and do nothing and be bored.
Right.
You know, I want to do something.
And one of the things that's very important to you is your faith.
Yes.
And you've already made a commitment to continue or to begin working in a faith-based program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's dear to my heart, and it's called CEF Child Evangelism Fellowship. And I'm already, it's a ministry. They go into schools after school hours. The Supreme Court, you know, had a ruling years ago that says any group can go into the schools after school hours. And the reason I chose this one, because it was when I was 6 years old. They were around back then, and I heard the gospel message, you know, about, you know, Jesus died on the cross for your sins. If you want to go to heaven, you need to invite Christ into your life as your personal Savior. So I heard that gospel message at the age of 6 years old. I went home and I said, Mommy, I want to go to heaven, you know. So my mother and I, we got down on our knees and I prayed to accept Christ at the age of 6 years old. That was the best decision I've ever made in my life. Best decision ever. So because of CEF and the ministry they have, I want to give back. And I know that for me, you know, I've had a purpose in life because of my faith, because of I put my trust in Jesus Christ. Channel 8 here, they came up with the idea of that Finding Faith segment. People think, oh, you probably rammed it through. I didn't. It was their idea to do it. Yeah. And they asked me to do it. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. So, you know, I don't say I'm a religious guy. I'm a person who has a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's different because there's freedom in that. So I know he's in control. So anyway, to make a long story short, that's where my heart is. So I'm going to get more involved in Child Evangelism Fellowship.
So you'll be doing speaking engagements?
Probably so, yeah. I might become like maybe an ambassador for them, you know. And again, it's ministry work, so it's not a paid position, but that's okay. I want something to do, and I want to have a purpose in life. And I know that it's helped me out. And if I can help other kids out too, it's, you know, it's the Supreme Court says you can go in, and believe me, they check background checks. You know, if you want to be involved in ministry, it's all up front. And so that's what I hope to do, to maybe do some speaking engagements for them. I may, in fact, after I retire, I already have like 2 or 3 speaking engagements for weather. So I don't think they know I'm retiring.
And you raise a good point, because I don't think anybody pictured Randy Ollis sitting around with his feet up, because you're an active person, you do a lot. You just ran a half marathon this past weekend.
Walk, jog.
So how important do you think that is for all of us as we get older and move into retirement, to keep doing something?
You know, my wife and I, we have a mentor. He's like in his mid-70s up in Michigan, and he and his wife are as busy now as ever, and they're in their mid-70s. And I know for us as, you know, born-again believers, Christians, that we don't like to use the word retirement. You never retire.
Yeah.
You go on to do something else. And so that's how I always see my life, you know. I mean, I've enjoyed broadcasting. I mean, you're fantastic at what you do. Did I read that right here?
Thanks, Randy.
Checks in the mail, right? But I you know, it's been fun here working at Channel 8. You know, when they started Daybreak in '84, I was the initial person on the show to do weather. So I got on the ground floor when morning newscast started. The rumor was nobody's going to watch morning news. And here we are, 6-hour show in the morning, so it's really taken off. But yeah, I just think for me, it's critical that I keep going. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. I have that mentality. I think you do too. Yeah. To exercise, you know, I know you're religious about exercising, and so am I. I do it almost every single day, so I want to keep going as long as I have my health.
All right, there are some words of wisdom from none other than Randy Ollis. He's one of the best, and he's retiring. Randy, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, George.
My thanks to Randy Ollis, not only for joining me for Behind the Eight, but for welcoming me to the Wish-TV family. I encourage you to listen to Behind the Eight, where we pull back the curtain on Wish-TV 8 and talk to the key players here. I'm George Mallet. Thanks for listening to Behind the Eight. Check out all of the podcasts available here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is Behind the Eight Podcast with Wish TV's George Mallet. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And connect for even more on Facebook and at wishtv.com.